because
Yeah.
we're gonna take out World's Strongest Man. I'm not saying he doesn't care for those people or that organization, but
Yeah.
World's Strongest Man's kind of the old guard. It's kind of this old way of doing television strongman.
It's for television. It's not for spectators.
And Brian's like, we could do this better, and I could be the one that does it. And so that's when he started off in 2023 with his retirement, which it was very well. I mean, the whole arena was packed. Like, it was really fun to watch. But anyways, that's the first one we went to.
All right, welcome to the Bacon, Bibles, and Barbells podcast. My name is Coach Justin. I'm joined by Coach Amanda, and we're also joined by Dave. Dave actually founded the podcast years ago, and he's back. He hasn't been on in a while. Those of you that might be newer listeners, he was like the original founder. This is all his idea. So Dave's here to talk about Strongest Man on Earth. He went this year, and he's also been another time. So we'll talk kind of about his experience and thoughts and what it was like going there and everything. So before we do that, though, we'll talk real quick about how our training's going and some stuff like that. So Amanda, as if you didn't say yesterday when we recorded another episode, but how's training going? What are you up to? How's everything going?
Good. I actually wasn't on yesterday, so it'll be
that's
fresh.
right. You weren't. It was just billing me. Yeah, so that works. See, it's all good.
Yeah, I did miss a couple days last week because we drove down to move my son into his dorm, which, of course, ate into the workout schedule, but got a ton of walking done, of course, moving everything from where he was living to the car and then from the car to the dorm, and it was over 100 degrees, so definitely some water loss.
Bunch of carries.
A lot of carries, actually. I was pretty sore from that, actually, because we parked so far away from the dorm. Everyone was unloading, so we had to carry things quite some way, which I don't normally do carries as a bodybuilder. So it was.
It's funny how it hits differently, isn't it?
Yeah. My biceps were sore. I was like, I actually work out I actually do curls, unlike the strongmen most of the time. Yeah. But it wasn't ready for that hold and carry.
It's different. Yeah, it is. If you don't do it, it still hits different. Like, I remember how stark that was when I had been when I started powerlifting. I'd been doing it for a few years. I just hadn't done stuff like that in a while. And I don't remember what I was doing. I was helping someone move something, and I was like, I swear this is almost easier when I was weaker and skinnier and stuff, because I just didn't. You get hyper focused on a certain thing, and you also get hyper adapted to it, which is a good plug for throwing some degree of strongman events into training semi-regularly, because it does have good carryover, and you just end up being more stable and well-rounded. And I think it helps prevent injury too, for most people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But we're back into it this week. So
sweet.
On a steady workout. I guess system. Sort.
No, it's good. Yeah. Dave, I know what you're up to, but how about you should tell everybody what you're up to?
So, I'm 39 years old. So with strongmen, you either kind of go for it and, potentially get hurt, or you take a sort of a break between your 39th and 40th birthday, try to get super strong, not really do a whole lot of competing. And that's kind of what I'm focused on, is just trying to, stay healthy, maintain everything between now and my 40th birthday, where I'll be a master's competitor in strongman. So we were camping last week, so I typically try not to do a whole lot of training while I'm on vacation, but we managed to go to a really cool gym near Norfolk, Virginia. Excuse me. And I got some. It's always nice going to a new gym. You never know who you're going to run into. I didn't actually know anyone there, but they were really cool about me. Mess with some of their equipment, and it was a lot of fun. We were training for Static Monsters in February. That went well, and of course, the fun part is after you train, you go outside and you sit in the sun, which just is a great way to rest, I suppose. But it was a great time. I only got one day in last week. I trained again yesterday after Labor Day. It's going well. Lifts are moving in the right direction, and we're moving, making steady progress. So that's good.
Yeah, I think this is the longest that you've gone without competing since we've been working together.
That's about right. I think the last competition was either April or May. It might have been April.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a last minute, like, I want to do this. This is looking fun.
Yeah, we didn't prep for it at all. It was just like, I think you told me like 2 weeks before you were doing it or something. I was like, okay, I guess we're deloading in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So when is your birthday?
June 20. So unfortunately, USS Federation, their nationals is like June 5th. So I can't really bank on that. So there's one other big federation, Strongman Corps. They haven't yet given a date. So I'm hoping that 50%, get a little bit later in the year, and we'll see. And then there's also OSG, and I there's a couple things I just haven't really. Right now, I'm focused on Static Monsters, which I believe is going to be either September or October of next year. And so that's in Phoenix. So that's the big one I'm looking at right now. But there's a couple other things I'm pursuing, and it's got in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So working on qualifying for Nationals Static Monsters, which that shows in February. So we're just kind of starting to ramp up actual specific training at this point. Nothing's real heavy yet, at least not for you, but it will be soon. I think it's good though. I think because right now this is probably about the least you haven't told me anything hurts in a while. So this is probably the least injured you've been. The layoff was good, and you're in a good spot to push, I think.
Yeah, I got a little something called PRP, plasma recovery or something. That was really interesting and really enjoyed that. I'm slowly paying that off. It was about $900, but they say it's similar to stem cell as far as the I
think that's platelet rich plasma. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And it's simple, but it has a similar effect as stem cells do. For a fraction of the price, and so we're rolling the dice. Hopefully, my elbows will start playing ball, and we can see if that works. And so far, that's I feel better, but we'll see.
Yeah, we haven't pushed log much yet.
Not yet. I did 200 for sets of 5 Viper press. That actually went really well. I did it first set, and I was like, "Oh, that's my last warm up." Chris is like, "No, that was your first set." I'm like, "Oh gosh, okay. I guess this is really light." I was surprised. I thought I had.
I programmed you light, to start on. Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. It was definitely. But I was surprised when you got a log. The empty weight's 60 pounds, and you're just adding 25s like crazy to get to a certain weight. It looks weird, and it's also just throws my numbers off. But so we're prepping for Static Monsters, which is a heavy, elevated axle bar deadlift and a max log. And I think we're shooting for first place if we can get it, assuming the numbers from this last year carry over to next. We'll see.
Yeah, I think we have a good shot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So mine will be pretty simple. I'm only training twice a week still, kind of recovering from the pinched nerve. Barely training my lower body, honestly. Mostly just focused on a lot of bodybuilder type of movements with some compound movements, but there's about as heavy as I can go for 3 sets of 5 on like bench and stuff, but that's pretty light these days. So I'm still coming back from that. Like I think I could probably bench 300 now, which is still sucky, but that would probably be there. But I'm kind of working my way through the 200s right now. I could tell strength is up this week compared to last week. So there is progress, and some sizes slowly coming back in the delts or the delt. My right delt's fine. But the left delt's coming back a little bit, and some of the other muscles that atrophied. So some progress. I'm hoping, maybe October I'll be something similar to what I was, but we'll see. I'm just hoping some muscle memory kicks in. I don't think I don't think the nerves are actively being pinched much anymore, if at all. I think it's mostly just atrophy at this point. I do still have a decent amount of back pain some days, like today it flared up, but I'm not getting all the muscle spasms and twitches and stuff like that when it happens. So I think I'm probably in a good spot to get back there. So yeah, cool.
I was
So
just
let's
looking
talk
over here
about.
if there
Go
were
ahead.
any strongman nationals at this time of year. Obviously, you wouldn't qualify yet, but it would be. It was actually a pro show. It wasn't a nationals that I was just looking at. So, but that'll be
Yeah.
fun to watch. Anthony and I are going to that one next for him. But
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it's
Cool. Yeah.
yeah,
very cool. Very cool. Is that the
Yeah.
one
That'll
where?
be fun.
Is that the same venue where they were doing like a deadlift like rep fest last year? Or is that a different one? I remember watching it. It sounded
I
like
don't know what they did last year, and I'm not sure if this is like a regular annual one, but it's called Silver Strength Showdown, so it's masters only, and
Okay.
cool.
yeah, so that he's going to be competing in the amateur, but they have pros going on the afternoon.
Nice. Yeah. So
Very
it
cool.
sounds like it's run similar to Rainier, where they do the amateurs in the morning and the pros in the afternoon, on like a 2-day show.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
actually one day, but I
Oh
haven't been to
wow.
that one.
they did something like that. So my wife competed as strongest woman on the East Coast. Again, one of those we gave her a 6-day notice, and they did that amateurs in the morning, and then the pros all walked in, and we're talking some big names. Well, Jennifer Lyle, who won the Shaw Classic at the show we were about to talk about, was there,
Yeah.
but. Yeah, it's cool. You see all the little amateurs like, "Hey, my award," and then all the pros show up while they're getting their awards. And you're like, "Okay, well,
Hmm.
here comes the actual show."
Yeah, well, I'm small.
Yeah, I'm small. Right, right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah. Speaking of Strongest Man on Earth, so what was the other year that you went to Strongest Man on Earth? Was it last year or was it before that?
I want to say it was 2022, or 20.
Okay.
Actually, let's see, it was either 22 or 23. Shaw
Yeah.
retired. Strongest Man on Earth. It was 20. It's loading. It's loading. 2023.
Okay.
So Strongest Man on Earth used to be in Shaw's gym
Yeah,
back when it started. I want to say 2020, and it was sort of a reaction to COVID, but it
I
was
think
also,
so.
but it was all with that, but it was also Shaw knew his time was coming. He wanted to expand his brand, but he also wanted to make Giants Live. Strongman was huge in Britain. Nobody really cares about it in America. It's not that big of a deal. And Shaw was like, I can make this happen. I've got the
Yeah,
pull and the authority to do this. So he started Strongest Man on Earth. I think back then it was called Shaw Classic.
yeah,
And it just to sort of flip off World's Strongest Man, he decided to change the name
yeah.
from World's Strongest Man to Strongest Man
Well,
on Earth.
do you know about the intellectual property with that? Actually, it was he had that was actually so Strongest Man on Earth was intellectual property
Mhm.
of was it IFSA? I think they owned the Strongest Man on Earth title, and I believe he bought the IP from them so that he could convey that title in the show.
I did not. I was not aware of that. I think you can just tell he's being a little cheeky because
Yeah,
we're gonna take out World's Strongest Man. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't care for those people or that organization, but
yeah.
World's Strongest Man's kind of the old guard. It's kind of this old way of doing television
It's
strongman.
for television. It's not for spectators.
And Brian's like, we could do this better, and I could be the one that does it. And so
Yeah,
that's when this started off in 2023 with his retirement, which well, it was very well. I mean, the whole arena was packed. Like it was really fun to watch. But anyways, that's the first one we went to. It was really cool.
Was there
yeah. I
any
think it's
kind of
cool that he did it because
reaction
it.
to
I
the
think. Oh,
Arnolds?
go ahead.
Like Shaw
Um,
Classic, I think there was some kind of
yeah,
debate or some kind of play on the Arnold Classic as well.
yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
that was. Well, I'm not sure if it was before or after he basically told Arnold to kick rocks
Yeah.
over the whole F your freedoms thing. I'm not sure, but it definitely he burned the bridge, which I mean, good for him. I'm on his side of this whole thing. But
yeah,
yeah, Shaw was the Arnold Classic guy, and then he's like,
Hmm.
I'm not getting invited back to this show, and so yeah, you can sort of see him like, I'm gonna make sure that we sort of you know, make our statement against the Arnold Classic, Columbus Strongman show. And, we can discuss whether or not it's actually going to if the numbers are looking in his direction, my gut says it's going to be tough. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off. The numbers,
Yeah.
I don't know about the pay-per-views, but it was pretty empty in the stadium this year. It was about half full from when I was
Interesting.
there in 2023. And people were saying, well, you were seeing Shaw's retirement. Of course, that's going to be the peak. Well, you don't want to peak at the beginning. That's not necessarily a great look. But yeah, so it was. I mean, it was still fun, but it was definitely a different energy this year than it was 2 years ago.
I wonder if there's multiple factors there, and I would say like, well, what I want to step back a little bit. So like,
yeah,
no, not at all. It's just some observations about what he's doing. So like, the only big strongman experience, spectator experience you could get before the Shaw Classic was the Arnold Classic.
Mhm.
That was the only way you could go see in like nice bleacher seat, like real bleacher seats kind of thing, a show that had high production value and like sound system and lighting on a stage and all that kind of stuff. It was really the only way to do that. You know, Giants Live in the UK, and they do several shows a year like that. Right. So like the Arnold Classic was the only game in the country really that was doing that. And so I feel like Brian was one, because that's not World's Strongest Man is it's like the worst spectator experience of every strongman show that you would find. Like any regional strongman show, you're actually going to have a better spectator experience than World's Strongest Man. It's just, it stinks. Like it's not, you go there because you love the sport and stuff. That's cool. But it is, they're not thinking about the fans when they design it. They're thinking about television and how it's going to edit and all that other kind of stuff. And that's about it. So
they move around. It's not at the same place every year.
They move around and like, it's very dynamic, and the schedule is kind of goofy because they have to adjust to like things, last minute changes and stuff like that. And it's, you don't know when things are happening necessarily. Whereas like, you know, Arnold Classic, it's on a schedule, Strongest Man on Earth, you know, right when everyone's going. So I feel like Brian was wanting to compete in that sense with what the Arnold was doing and provide a nice like arena strongman experience that actually has decent production value. It's different because you're in more of a fishbowl versus Arnold is like a stage, you know, everyone's facing the same direction instead of being all around. But it is the only other, you know, competition you can go to do that, especially with that caliber of athlete. So I think he's kind of competing on that sense, but it's also a different show because I mean, the Arnold is it's just a heavy show. Like it's all about let's just make everything really heavy with a couple wild card events in there. They like to do that. Whereas pretty much all of it seems like all the Shaw Classic stuff, it's all reps type stuff. They're not doing, you know, 1 rep maxes as much. I know they've done the deadlift and stuff like that. And not to say that it's not heavy. I mean, they had like I think a 1,200 pound yoke this year. But like, it's not focused on pure weight quite as much as the Arnold is. So it's a slightly different focus, different flavor. It's going to have the same the same pros at it, of course. A lot of the same guys. So as far as, but you've gone to both. You and I have gone to the last 3 or 4 Arnold Classics together, actually. So maybe like, how would you compare the experience of one versus the other? Obviously, there's a big difference, partly because for those of you that haven't been to the Arnold Classic, the Arnold Classic is one show among many things happening at the whole, I can't what they call it, the Arnold Expo, basically. You've got bodybuilding stages, which I've never visited the bodybuilding area. But like even in the main expo area, you've got world's powerlifting, multiple federations are doing worlds basically. You have other like I assume it's like regional or state stuff. You've got Olympic weightlifting, multiple federations. In the past, there's been like the medieval like sword, you know, armor. I don't even know what they call it. Like there's been Highland Games in the past.
It's LARPing.
It's LARPing. Yeah, I mean it's so like you have, and then the expo area, the vendors. There's I don't know how many vendors there, but some of their stages or whatever booths and stuff are monstrous. Like the Young LA or Young La or whatever it is, one was like they probably spent millions on all that this year. Whereas I don't get the sense that the Arnold that the Shaw Classic is quite that flavor. I know they have an expo area for vendors, but it doesn't seem like it's quite the focus. Like at the Arnold, you have to walk through all the vendors to get to the Strongman stage that's been set up. So how would you compare like overall experiences as a spectator one to the other, and like what, you know, if someone's interested in going to one or the other, like what would they be looking at as far as experience wise?
Yeah, so the Arnold Classics definitely got more history behind it. It's been going for at least 40 years. I'm not even sure.
It
It's been
started at
going.
least in the 90s, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
80s.
Mhm.
I have no idea. It's been at least, well, maybe 30 years. And so you've got a dedicated fan base, like you said, it's drawing so many more sports. Strongman, or sorry, SMOE is probably, they've got some powerlifting going on. They've got some arm lifting going on. They've got some arm wrestling going on. Um, they've got an expo that's probably a seventh or eighth of the size of the Arnold Classic, just because.
Mm.
I mean, you know, most of your folks are flying in. I mean, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where, like, how are you gonna check this bag and fly it out of here? It's they're just the expo is not nearly as big, but it is definitely more of a definitely has more of an intimate feel to it than the Arnold Classic. The Arnold Classic,
Yeah.
you're going to feel overwhelmed after about a day. You're going to be like, this is too much. Even extra
Oh, it's
between.
sensory overload
It
for
is. It
me.
is. Well, there's just so much going on, and
Yeah.
it's too loud. There's so many people. Even, I mean, I'm an extrovert, and I'm like done Sunday. I'm like, I just want to go home. And so, yeah, it's like, too much. It's too much.
Even
So
Dave stops talking.
maybe. But yeah, but it's one of those things
Yeah.
where they're different. You definitely have the same. You said the same pros are there. They have a women's pro show at the Arnold Classic, which I'm a little surprised. I'm not a little surprised. They don't really have so much time in the day because in the morning they have the Shaw Classic, which is the amateur. So the amateurs compete in the morning, and then like you said, the pros compete in the afternoon. So they only have so much time in the day. So there's no pro women show at the Strongest Man on Earth yet because it's called Strongest Man on Earth, I assume. But
Yeah, I think it's in the days leading up to it, right? They have a couple days for some of the like the nationals and stuff like that, amateurs and the pro women,
yeah,
and
but
even like the pro men too, right? It's just not the same level, or
yeah, I mean, if you win SMOE amateur, you may or may not get invited to the next year's SMOE show. And
yeah,
it's called the Shaw Classic, not the SMOE amateur. But if you win the Shaw Classic, I think Austin Andrade, that's how he got his opening into. Actually, I know he got it in when I was there 2023. That's how he's now a big name in the bigger Strongman Pro shows. But the
yeah,
Arnold Classic actually has a pro women's show in the morning, which is I would say it's a little more than half attended, but it's still well attended. It's I would say probably the most one of the best attended women's shows in the country, in at least the USA. And they'll
yeah,
have ladies from England, obviously some of the Rebecca Roberts and some of the
Mhm.
other big names. And I kind of would like to see that if they could figure it out at the SMOE, but I'm guessing they're just trying to figure out the logistics of it all, how to make it work. So I'm not sure. We'll
yeah,
see. But yeah,
yeah.
they
They kind of
had
have to prioritize something, right?
well, that's the thing. We were going. They start at 2 in the afternoon and be done at 9 every night. And so it's like, how are you going to fit more stuff? And it wasn't like there was a bunch of downtime between events, which we can talk about if you want to jump into that.
Yeah, well, that's that. I think that's one difference too, right? Because the Arnold, like they do the ladies in the morning and the men in the afternoon, pretty much. And there's a lot of downtime. Sometimes, so like
Yeah.
they'll run an event, you know, and all 10 or 12 competitors will run through the event, and they'll spend, you know, there might be a 45 minutes or an hour before they start the next one,
Yeah.
and they're usually on time. It's not an issue that like that's actually the schedule. Whereas it sounds like the Shaw Classic, they don't have those times in between as much.
They're well. I guess the one thing that is similar is the teardown and setup teams are excellent. They're very professional. They're probably some of the same guys between the two programs,
Yeah,
two
Mhm.
shows. So it's not like there's not a lot of time. It's just it is grueling. This show, I feel like this show, part of it is also they're at altitude, but this show you could just tell people were just, compared to the Columbus show, this was a lot harder of a show. At least I felt that way compared to watching them in Columbus, where it's just like you said. I feel like you got more time to recover, more time to catch your breath, and to take a second. You really don't have that, and part of that is the altitude. It's just there's no unless you're sitting around for like I guess 3 weeks. I mean, you're not going to get adjusted. And most of these guys, they flew in 3 days before. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think the other thing too, that doesn't the Strongest Man on Earth has 8 events, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Arnold has, I think, 6. So like even that is
good point.
That's a big difference. Like you're doing a lot more work.
Yeah, and altitude too, and so it's impressive. Even like I can't imagine, regardless if it's a static or a moving event. I'm sorry, you're doing it in altitude. It's going to suck regardless, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah. Oh, I got the dates too, by the way, for the Arnold Strongman Classic. The first Strongman Classic was actually in 2002. The Arnold Sports Festival started in 1989.
Okay, and that was, I think, Mark Henry, I think, won the first one, I believe.
Yeah, he won the first one, and I think he won like
a couple of them.
Several more after that or something. It was basically his show until I don't know, probably Brian, basically took over for a while, because didn't Brian win like 7 of them or something?
But I believe it's between Brian and Big Z, but I think Brian has more than Big Z as far as wins.
Yeah.
But yeah. They both have a lot. It's definitely their show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So as one thing that always stands out to me with the Arnold is, that the production and stuff like that. Like they've got music between competitors. Competitors have walkout songs and stuff like that, which is cool. It also, that's part of, for me, honestly, the sensory overload. Like, this is going to sound like old man shakes fist at cloud, but like I put in earplugs because it's concert loud when you're there.
Yeah.
And so like when you're hearing all the walk-ons and music and transitions and stuff like that, and then loud announcers, and there's no dead space really. How does that compare and contrast to the Strongest Man on Earth?
It's not as loud. It's not as boomy. I mean, even though I feel like you're closer to the action. They definitely have a better balance with the sound at the show. Also another thing that I'll say I prefer, the Shaw's show has got a better MCs. Brian is one of the MCs. The other guy is an older British guy, and they do just an excellent job. It's not this goofy. Yeah. I love Mark Henry. He's goofy, man. The thing is, after you've had MC for like 4 hours, you kind of run out of catchphrases. You know what I mean? And the guys running Shaw's show, they kept going. They kept pulling new ones out. We're like, oh, that was interesting. There you go. So they definitely had, in Shaw too. Like, even though Shaw kind of comes across, Brian kind of comes across a little stodgy and kind of scripted. He was on point, helping MC the entire show, which I was very impressed with. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I do feel like at the Arnold, the guys are kind of like babbling and filling time a lot. And it honestly, like half the time, I'd rather them just not speak or something and just be like, yeah, we're waiting for the next thing. That's fine. Because sometimes it's just kind of like, okay, because they're just talking to, it's like if you have your kid in the car and you're like, okay, you can stop talking now. You've been talking for 10 minutes and said nothing. That's kind of like how I feel it gets at the Arnold sometimes, where it's just like, okay, you don't need to say anything right now because you don't actually have anything to say.
Yeah, it's a hard job. I don't think I would be able to MC anything.
I couldn't do it, but like the guy they got working alongside Brian, excellent job this year. Really, I was impressed. I was kind of hoping it would be, when I heard the British accent, like, oh, I don't know if you guys watch the old WSM videos on YouTube. They've got this bald guy who's got the funniest jokes alongside, like, he'll be working alongside Eddie Hall. And just the weirdest, driest humor. It was somebody else. But I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, wait, no. This is a different guy.
My name is Justin Johnson with High Calling Fitness. Maybe you're tired, gaining weight, waking up with joint pain, back pain, and a body that just doesn't feel like it used to. You've tried to fix it, but nothing seems to last. What if you don't need another app or crash diet, but a real coach, someone to meet you where you're at and walk with you step by step? At High Calling Fitness, our coaching comes to you wherever you are. No matter where you live, small town or city, across the country or across the world, your health still matters. You don't have to go it alone. We build personalized plans based on your goals, your schedule, and your equipment, even if it's just a set of dumbbells in a small space. This isn't just training, it's a personal partnership. You'll get weekly updates, one-on-one access to your coach, and ongoing support through Zoom and Slack every step of the way. We're here to help you build strength, restore energy, and claim the life you were meant to live. Book a free consult today. Let's talk about your goals and see how we can build something better together. High Calling Fitness, built for the everyday, ready for the extraordinary.
But yeah,
Bummer.
some of the funniest jokes are, you just got to watch The World's Strongest Man, the old British ones on YouTube. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had 16 athletes. I will say, starting off, they started off with a log lift, and their goal was to break Bobby Thompson's record of, I believe, 217 kilos. And for us Americans, that's, I believe, close to
It'd be like 250 or so. Yeah.
479 pounds.
Oh, is it that much? Okay.
Yeah, well, according to, so 479 pounds, and it's a rising log, right? You take it when you can, and you get 3 attempts. 16 guys, showing up. Bobby Thompson's there, showing up too, and it was interesting how some of this fell out. Bobby, he had a bail at 425, which he had a rough. This year was not a good year for him. He actually retired.
No.
But
did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw he withdrew.
Yeah, and then he put out like an official. Now he's giving away a lot of equipment, but
oh man.
He had a rough show, and people were kind of crapping on him on Instagram, like, why are you including Bobby? There are better guys you should have on your show. And Bobby was having to defend himself. But anyways, long story short, Trey Mitchell and Lucas Hatton are neck and neck at this first event. Trey shows up, and typically what Trey does with these heavy events is his last attempt, because you got to jockey for points. He puts a number out there that's like ridiculous. Then he shows up and touches the event and walks off laughing at the audience.
Yeah, because the other guy's going to go heavier. Yeah,
go heavier. Yeah, and so he puts his hands on the log. I believe it's 485, and he presses it and breaks the world record, or the national record. He breaks the national record, and Lucas Hatton's like, "All right, let's see what I got." And Lucas,
he's a presser though.
Lucas is, and I mean, it wasn't a surprise. Well, I was surprised, but he just walks out there and just presses 492. And so Trey had the record for like maybe 50 seconds.
Yeah, I was not surprised. I mean, Lucas is semi-local to me, and I follow him and saw his training leading up, and knew he was. I think he was good for 500 plus. His training he just looked really good in training. So when I saw he broke the record, I was not surprised at all by that. He's the guy to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Thomas Evans did really good. He got 454, and I was really happy with how he did. And I believe the next guy down on that list was Stoltman, which is actually, I mean, Stoltman's not a bad presser. It's just, that's sort of his brother's thing, and he did good, 452. So it was pretty close. So what was interesting about the show is that the next event was a moving event, carry and hoist. And the guys who did really well in the static pressing did very badly in the movie, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You can tell Brian's like, I'm going to keep you guessing. You're not going to know how this show's going to end up at all. You're not, just because and so, Lucas and Trey both got like some of the worst scores. With the carry and hoist. It was very, very interesting. But it was a very
there's probably just some intense fatigue too, because heavy log, like it's it's pretty brutal. Like it's worse than heavy bench press. Like you can max out on bench press, and it does mess with your head. But like a heavy log, it's a full body movement in a different way, and it'll mess you up for the day.
Yeah.
I think that Brian Shaw is really good at event selection. Also, like he's so experienced, he knows what's going to be fatigued and like does it to you on purpose. But it makes for a more exciting show, I think, and it gets to hit everybody's strengths. I think sometimes being able to hit everybody's strengths really shows you who the true strongest man on earth is, obviously, because you're not just leaning really heavy toward pressers or really heavy toward deadlifters, or it's a good mix.
Yeah, it does seem like he's had a good blend. You know, that was a criticism, or has been a criticism of World's Strongest Man sometimes in the past, where because it's like they favored light moving events for a while, then they favored static strength during the Eddie Hall era, and now I feel like they're a bit more balanced. But Brian's events have always been a good mix of like static, type of strength, and then moving events, and like good, obviously heavy pulls and other things like that. I agree. It seems like it's been very well rounded, and it leaves a lot of room for upsets in the points, especially early on, because you just have wildly different rankings sometimes, and having 8 events does help with that.
Yeah, well, and to your point, I think so Mitchell Hooper was the defending champ, and I want to say now I'm not going to say he bailed because he complained that the events were too heavy, but that's part of it. I mean, people were saying, dude, this is ridiculous. Some of the stuff you should, really? And I think he did. He was like, this is too much. And it wasn't just the heaviness of I'm not going to say that's the only reason. But, I mean, you had some other guys like the World's Strongest Man winner, Ronyo Nell, didn't show up either. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. But so you had some big names that just didn't show up that could have made it more interesting. But, yeah, so the carry and hoist, you got event 2 down, and it's like, we don't really know who's on top right now because Lucas Hatton is, I believe, at this point, he's got like 21 points. Thomas Evans has 21 points. Singleton's got 25, but everything's really close after the second event.
Yeah, it's almost exactly opposite between those two events on points.
Yeah. It seemed that way during the whole competition too, because I watched some of the points movements. I didn't watch it live, but I saw people posting about the points, and it was like the point splits. Nobody like broke away in any crazy significant way the whole time. It was kind of anybody's game for a while there.
Yeah, especially after day 1, you ended up with the keg toss. Keg toss and manhood stone. So. Keg toss out of nowhere. This wasn't a huge shock, but Maxime Boudreau just shows up and just dominated. When I say dominated, I mean he barely got the thing over, but nobody else could throw the 79-pound keg. He just tipped it. It just fell right over.
It surprised me that Tom Stoltman didn't, because Tom Stoltman, like that used to be his event. He was like the guy.
Yeah. Well, and I think Shane Flowers and Mitchell both did very well, and it helped Mitchell. I think that alongside the next event, maintain. I want to say he left day 1 first place overall, but yeah, it was. I was surprised Stoltman didn't do as well. There were some tall guys. I mean, Singleton did not do well either. He only got 9 points on that. Pretty tall guy for 9 points.
He's got very long arms.
He does. Austin's more of a he's sort of a wider guy. I'm not surprised he didn't do that well. But yeah, Trey Mitchell just coming off of an injury and just being able to be explosive and to get to tie for second on the throws. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then you had
definitely.
Then you had the manhood stones. That was the last event for day 1. So what this is, it's a lineup of stones. The heaviest stone is 600 pounds. The lightest stone is, I want to say, 450. I'm
and it's basically just a stone over bar, right?
Is a stone over bar, and it's trump weight. So if you can get one rep at 500, that beats 17 reps at 450. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out, you've got, I think, 90 seconds to get as many as you can. And so this last year, Tom Stoltman just totally fluffed this event. He went too heavy and he burned himself out. And so he's like, I'm not going to do that again, guys. Well, he kind of did that again, and he didn't have a bad day, but he only got 500 pounds for one rep, and he struggled getting that 500 pounds up and over. He got 10 points, but it was definitely an interesting. Definitely an interesting event. Definitely, people struggled a lot. I think one guy got fourth, Brian Johnson, which I'm not familiar with Brian Johnson at all. He got 2 reps of the 550 and won that event with 2 reps of 550, which,
I heard the stones were kind of slick too. Like I heard they were particularly difficult, like the surface. They just the guys weren't getting good traction on them and stuff.
Yeah, and Brian Johnson's got a very similar build to Brian Shaw. He's very big arms. So I wasn't shocked he did well at that, but nobody else did. I mean, nobody could touch the 600-pound stone, and Brian Johnson just barely got the 2 reps in for 550.
Yeah.
And that was his big show. So, Maxime Boudreau gets 16 points in an event. Brian Johnson gets 16 points in an event. Like, it's funny. Like, you don't have anyone, like, just continuously doing really, really good, which I think, again, that's Brian Shaw's whole point. We're gonna keep you guessing until the end.
Yeah, nobody got, like, top 3 in every event like you often see in, like, World's Strongest Man or the Arnolds.
Yeah.
One of the things that happens with those big stones is they're not used that often. So they don't get covered in tacky like some of the smaller stones, just from people using them more.
Yeah.
So they end up being a lot more slick. And plus the diameter just gets insane once
huge.
It gets that heavy.
Yeah. Even I know they'll put like a lead weight in the middle or, a steel weight or something. Yeah. But even so, they are really big around.
Yeah. And there were some small guys. I mean, I say small. I should be clear.
By comparison,
there's some guys my size. Okay, that were in the lineup, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna struggle, with this. I mean, that's ridiculous. And there's a Czechoslovakian guy. I can't pronounce his name, but he got 1 rep at 450. I think Maxime Boudreau, he couldn't even pick up the lightest stone. He's the only one besides Shane Flowers got hurt in the stones, prepping warming up for the stones, and then that's when Bobby Thompson found out he was done. He had some weird spasm fall on the ground, and so he was done after that. But, I mean, so you got Brian Johnson and Trey Mitchell just really doing well with this event. So Trey, I believe he ended up being overall first place after day 1. And Evan Singleton, I think he just knew it was going to be a bad day for him. He only got I want to say 39 points compared to Trey. I believe got let's see, I'm doing math live. 46. So there's like a 7 points between Singleton and Mitchell going into the second day.
Yeah,
and that's going to be important leading the second day, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So, would you say they fit 4 events into an afternoon, though, right? I mean, that's still that's impressive.
Yeah, a lot.
So they must be keeping it moving pretty well.
So it went from I say they have the ceremony and stuff. I want to say the event started probably around 4. So from 4 to 9, they got 4 events in. And the guys are kind of hurting a little bit. I mean, you got 2 guys that are hurt, Shane Flowers and Bobby Thompson. So we're down to 14 competitors. The next day, again, you get you get 12 hours or whatever, 24 hours to recover, do whatever you can at that altitude. And the first event leading up to day 1 or day 2 is your trap bar deadlift. So you're starting off the second day with, hey, let's see how much you can pick up.
Yeah, because it's a max high pull trap bar deadlift.
It is not even that high. That's what was crazy. The handle it might have been 12 inches. Like it was ridiculous.
I thought it was kind of high. I thought it was tires or something like that.
Okay. Well, there were tires, but they didn't know they had no handles. It was like a straight bar thing.
Okay.
So it was still quite a pull. Like it wasn't as high as I was.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And,
it was still, and they're going stupid heavy on it too.
Yeah. So like the lightest guy, Boudreau, again, 807, which, props to him because he's having a rough time. And then it just keeps going up from there. I believe the average weight was around 1,000 pounds that you're pulling,
Wow.
raw. There are no suits involved, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think that was raw with straps and trap bar. That's totally different from a regular deadlift, which I prefer regular
Yeah.
deadlifts
Yeah.
myself. But the two guys that
It's a leg
tied,
press.
it's a leg press, yeah, and you had
It's more like a squat. Yeah, I'm better at it.
yeah. Well, so you had Trey and Austin Andrade splitting third and fourth place, and then you had Thomas Evans getting second place, and the Evan Singleton and Lucas Hatton tying for first. And I mean, it's one of those things where they're so close.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, like we're talking 10 pounds. Thomas Evans added 10 pounds or 9 pounds rather to get 2.5 more points. But they're starting to get really smart with their just trying to pick their attempts and all that. So yeah, 1,100 pounds. Evan Singleton and Lucas Hatton tied for first on the deadlift, the first event.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strategy involved whenever it's deadlifts like that, where you have a certain amount of attempts and you can call with a weight on the bar and whatever.
Yeah.
It's very, very strategic.
It is. And and you're also you don't want to go too hard too, because you still have 2 more events after. And there's a real fatigue element. I mean, you're going to be really fatigued after getting anywhere near maxing out on something like that.
Yeah. So Evan Singleton comes into day 2 saying, "This is my show. I'm going to show you guys. I got this. This is all mine." And he ties for first on the first event, which has got to hurt him a little bit because Lucas Hatton's way above him in the standings, or considerably above him. So Evan knows he's got to put the gas pedal all the way down to the floor to win this thing. And so the next event, again, someone out of nowhere just shows up and gets 16 points, and that's Tristan Hoth on the super yacht. One of the smallest guys. I'm not saying the smallest guys in the show, but you're like, oh, I mean, Thomas Evans or Austin Andrade. No, a guy nobody would have ever assumed this guy could do it. He picks up the 1,400-pound yoke and brings it all the way down in 12 seconds. It's ridiculous. And he was the only one that finished the heavier yoke. Nobody else.
Yeah, a lot of guys didn't finish the heavy yoke. It was for distance, right?
Yeah. So everyone else got wait, hold up. Austin Andrade got it in 18 seconds, so I was wrong. But Tristan and Austin were the only two. Lucas Hatton got it in 16 feet. I think with Tristan, there was some debate over did he get it over the bar because that yoke will tip. They did this stupid thing with a laser where they're like, oh, the laser is going to show when you pass the laser, that's when we're good. Well, some of the guys, they slammed the yoke down and the thing would tip past the laser. And Eddie Cohn's like, no, man, you didn't get past. And so I think Austin lost some seconds on his time because he had to reset. Jerry Pritchett was like, "You're good, man." Eddie Cohn on the other side's like, "You're not good." So Austin had to repick. But sometimes technology makes things worse.
Yeah.
For an event like that with the swing of it, because it can move and tilt and bounce, and you really just have to go off of where the feet land when it settles when you put it down. Just that's the traditional way.
Honestly, I feel like there should just be one ref. Having one ref on each side is a little silly. I think you should just have one ref across the front or whatever, because it just made things difficult. Jerry's like, "You're good," and Eddie Cohen was like, "You're not good." Eddie was more of a stickler, and so people were getting a little upset with Eddie Cohen on this event. But also, it's a ridiculous amount of weight. I mean, let's hold out 1,400-pound yoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
seriously, you might see 1,000-pound yoke at a World's Strongest Man event. You might see it at an OSG event. 1,400 pounds is at this altitude. It's just, I was shocked. And but that was probably one of the heaviest yokes they've ever had in the show. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I was really impressed that Tristan was able to win that event for sure.
Yeah. And then so at this point, there's 2 more left. What was next?
So the chest press.
That's right.
It's the iconic standing chest press. It's the only show that has it. Kind of like Arnold Classics, Conan's Wheel. And
it's a huge apparatus.
It's got these kegs at the top. They slide down this track. When it slams forward and you get a press command, you press, and then you get the rack command or whatever the command is, and you're not supposed to let go of the handles throughout the entire event. The next keg will come down, press, and you're just going for max reps. I think the top weight was 560 when it's all
Man.
said and done. And it's more of a I've been told it's almost a little bit more of a shoulder press. It's a mix between a shoulder press and a chest press, but it's a little odd, the angle of the thing. So it's not a strict chest press event, which is a little
Yeah, it's a little high. It looks like you're going to be using delts a bit more than a pure like bench press would.
Yeah, and I think Nick Guardione said he was one of my favorites. He got 3 reps and was like, "I've never pressed over 400 pounds, so today was a PR. I will try harder next year." But I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." He just admitted that he didn't train bench for the entire. I was like, "You buddy."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but Trey Mitchell got 8 reps. Again, Thomas Evans got 9, tied with Evan Singleton with 9, and Lucas Hatton got 10. And Evan had gas in the tank. He stopped at 9 just because it was the plan to stop at 9. And I was so frustrated with him because I'm like, dude, you weren't even struggling. And when Thomas Evans came out after him, got 9, and I'm like, oh, that's gotta really hurt Evan.
Oh, that split the points, yeah.
And then Lucas showed up with 10, and I'm like, oh, Evan's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, well, that's the privilege of being in a higher standing when you get to that event.
Yeah, well, Lucas showed up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to win this. And he got 10 reps, which I believe that's like, I want to say they're like 6 kegs, and then you do reps for the last, once they're all down. So he did like 3 reps at 545.
Yeah.
And they had a technical glitch where the second keg kept falling down early. So you would do 1 rep with 1 keg and then 3 kegs. And so Brian had the entire team for like 20 minutes trying to fix the apparatus, thinking, we might have to scratch this event if we can't get this to fix. And he was really if you know anything about Brian Shaw, he's a perfectionist, and you can just tell he was really bothered that
I'm sure
he didn't test his stuff, like what was wrong with me. So he was apologizing over and over, and we're all like, dude, just chill, like we're having a good time.
Let's just go.
Yeah, so but they got it fixed, and obviously so we're going to the last event. It is a medley. It is a some weird. So they contracted with a like a industrial plumbing company to make the hold. It's like a T joint with a bunch of heavy metal screwed on stuff. You're basically picking up doing a front carry for 50 meters, and then you're doing, I want to say it's a 500 and a 550 pound power stairs. And last power stair, the first one at the top wins. And again, Maxime Boudreau, he pulls out all the stops and gets 16 points. Even though he's had a garbage day, and he ends up being 14th place. He gets it in 10. He gets it 37 seconds. He gets the whole thing. So props for him for, you know what? I know I'm not going to win. I'm going to make this. I'm going to make it count. And so he kind of upsets the top standings by showing up, and I want to say he was probably one of the first to go, and just getting a ridiculous score.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was fun to watch because at this point we didn't know who had won. It was so close. And to give you guys some idea, the point spread, 6th place had 82.5. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. Why is this not sorted right? Okay, 5th and 6th place were tied with 82.5 points. 4th place with 83.5, so it's a 1 point between 4th and 6th. The top 3 had 88 points, 92.5 points, and 93.5 points. So,
so
when it was
close.
all said and done, I was sitting next to Lucas Hatton's parents and wife and all that, and they were like, "What was going on? What happened?" And Brian Shaw was like, "I think Evan won, but I don't want to say." And he was like, "I don't want to say. I don't want to have a, Steve Harvey moment where you're like, Venezuela."
Oh yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, and I can't remember. It was Evan won, didn't he?
Evan Singleton won by by
It was like half a point or something.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, he got 2 points over Lucas Hatton in that last event, and
Yeah.
I mean, Lucas.
Yeah, and it's because Lucas didn't finish though, right? He couldn't quite nail the last
Yeah,
stair.
he burned out. He might have finished, but he finished at 52. It says 10 and 52.09, so I think he did finish, but he took his time.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
if he had, according to the scoreboard, 6 seconds, got 6 seconds faster, he would have tied.
Man.
So, or if you know what I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's so stinking.
Yeah, so 7 seconds and it was his.
It was his.
Yeah.
Man.
And he was really kind of hurt. He won, but you could just tell he was deflating. And Evan Singleton was that was his show. So Evan's always been kind of getting in his own way. And I mean, I love the guy. Like his log press.
Yeah.
If you watch professionals do a log press, you actually set in the lap a little bit, for a second. The guy's like clean. He's cleaning it. He's not even getting set in his lap. And I'm like, dude, you're at this level where you can't be making stupid new mistakes like that. He messed his log press up because he was, I don't know, nerves or what it was.
Rushing a bit, yeah.
He was rushing. And so we're all like, oh, man, I hope Evan wins. But, I mean, the guy's just kind of all over the place. His nerves and his energy are just, they're not settled. And so I was really happy. And I'm hoping if he can stay healthy, this is where we start to see the Evan Singleton, I don't know, Evan Singleton start to take, more big wins like this, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't really seen him win a lot of things. Like he'll do particularly well in one event and then he won't necessarily do well for other events in the same show. I've always liked him, but I just haven't seen him at the top. So I'm glad to see him there. Love Lucas Hatton too, though. Like, those two being 1 and 2, I'm totally fine with that going forward.
I think Evan, he's got all the physical capability in the world to be the best at what any of these shows. It's a mental thing for him. I think he gets too hyped up, gets too rushed, gets in his own head a bit, and that's really it's a maturity thing more than anything else because he's strong, he's well rounded, he's got everything. He's got all the tools in the toolbox that he needs to win, pretty much any of the biggest shows in the world. It's just more of a matter of he's got to be in the right spot mentally, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I couldn't say it any better. I will say Thomas Evans getting a third place point. I was really, really stoked because he's not really a fun. He doesn't have the pizzazz of Evan Singleton or the just massiveness of Lucas Hatton. But being able to show up and get 88 points, a solid third place, 5 points away from Austin Andrade and Trey Mitchell. I was really impressed with his overall.
I like him.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really normal guy. He's just a very calm, normal guy. Shows up, does the work. He's not a hype man. He doesn't talk some crazy game or anything like that. He just shows up and he seems very humble and it's cool. Honestly, seeing all those guys. Those are great guys to be top 3 in my opinion. And it was really cool to see it.
Yeah, and he ended up. I want to say he did third or fourth place in every event. He was consistently near the top. So him getting third place made a lot of sense. I'd like to see Brian Johnson. I don't know much about that guy. He tied fourth place with Trey Mitch. I'm sorry. It was a 3-way tie. Or no, it was a 2-way tie for fifth place. Never mind. But I would like to see Brian Johnson. He's just got that Brian Shaw physique, the genetics. If he stays in the sport and continues working on himself, I think he could be a top contender as well. Just the mere fact he won the Stones, even over Tom Stoltman. I feel like Brian Johnson has a lot of good things going on that he just needs maybe some more time, just getting himself ready. But yeah, this was a really fun show. It was, like I said earlier, no one really came out on fire on top. There's a 10-point spread between the top 6 guys, which is really close. And I'm glad that it kept you guessing. Even Eddie Williams, who is ancient by strongman, standards. He showed up and like he had fun and he got decent points throughout the entire show. He got 62
Yeah.
points. It wasn't amazing, but for someone who he just knows, I'm on the the sunset is the sun is setting on my career. I'm still going to show up and throw everything at it. And so it was
Mhm.
fun to see him. He probably got the most love from the crowd. I would say,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Trey or but like Eddie Williams, just for who he was, everyone just seemed to really go on fire whenever he would come out, and that was cool to watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing all that. I mean, I hope that
yeah,
those I think that a lot of people they see the stuff streamed and stuff like that, and they see the recap videos, but they don't really know what it's like. So it's just really cool to hear about your experience and everything. And if anyone's considering going to one of these, like go to the Shaw Classic or the Arnolds. Like they're both really cool shows to see. We're not trying to say one's better than the other. They're both really neat. Go, it fits your schedule or fits whatever location's good for you, because they are cool experiences. And yeah, it'll be cool to see how the strongest man on earth develops over the years, because it, like you said, it was fuller before. This year was less full, so it'll be, I think that's marketing and some other business stuff at play more than anything else.
Mhm.
But I'd like to see Brian be successful in it.
yeah, I agree. I would like to see him be successful. I would like to see the sport get more popularity. If he could sort of somehow figure out what CrossFit did and try to
Yeah,
right on that back, because
Yeah.
that would be that's the sport to try to mimic, so, in a way.
yeah,
Just, but yeah, we'll see. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
which is why they combine a lot of competitions like the Rogue
They do.
Invitational and things
Rogue
like that.
Invitational. Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Well, cool, awesome, guys. Thanks for coming on, Dave. Appreciate you coming on. It's good to have you on your show again. It's been a while.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, cool. Thanks everyone for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And until then, gains and grace.
Gains and grace.
Awesome. Cool. I gotta